On a crisp autumn evening in Manhattan, New York, the streets buzz with life. Cars honk, lights flicker, and people rush past in their designer coats. Amid the chaos stands Emily Carter, a 22-year-old with a wild streak and a plan. She's parked herself next to a sleek black SUV, its tinted window catching the glow of a nearby street lamp. Emily adjusts a ratty baseball cap, pulling it low over her eyes. She smears a bit of dirt from the sidewalk onto her cheeks, rubbing it in like war paint. Then she leans closer to the car window, using it as a mirror to check her handiwork. Her reflection stares back, a mess of tangled hair and a face that looks like it hasn't seen soap in days. Perfect. She mutters to herself, if I look like I just crawled out of a dumpster, no way this guy will stick around. The guy in question is James Grayson, a 28-year-old CEO her parents have been raving about for weeks. The Carters and Graysons, two of New York's wealthiest families, have cooked up a scheme to bring their kids together. It's not an engagement, not yet, just a formal meetup to see if they click. But Emily knows better. It's a business deal dressed up as a date, and she wants no part of it. Her mom, Margaret, keeps saying, James is a catch, honey. He's got money, looks, and a future. Her dad, John, chimes in with, think of the merger, Emily. It's good for the family. Emily's response, she'd rather eat glass than play along. So here she is, turning herself into a walking disaster to scare off this James Grayson guy. She adjusts her oversized hoodie, stolen from her brother's closet, and tugs at the frayed hem of her jeans. One look at me, she whispers, and he'll run back to his penthouse faster than you can say trust fund. She steps back, satisfied with her masterpiece. The plan is simple. Show up to this meetup looking like a train wreck, make a terrible impression, and watch the whole thing fall apart. Freedom is just one bad date away. What Emily doesn't know is that she's not alone. Inside that very SUV, James Grayson sits in the driver's seat, his phone pressed to his ear. He's just finished a call with his assistant, something about a board meeting, and he's about to pull away. But then he catches movement in the rearview mirror. He lowers the window a crack, just enough to hear the city noise, and that's when he sees her. A girl, maybe 5 feet from his car, turning herself into a human scarecrow. He tilts his head, watching as she smears dirt on her face and mutters to herself. His lips twitch into a half-smile. Who's this? He says under his breath. She's got guts, I'll give her that. James isn't what Emily imagines. Sure, he's a CEO, heir to Grayson Enterprises, a company his late mother built from the ground up. But he's not some spoiled rich kid coasting on daddy's money. He's sharp, driven, and currently fighting a war at home. His stepbrother Ryan and stepmother Susan have their eyes on his inheritance, and they'll stop at nothing to take it. James doesn't have time for games, least of all some family-orchestrated meetup with a stranger. Yet here he is, stuck in traffic, watching this mystery girl turn herself into a walking disaster. He's intrigued, maybe even amused. Find out who she is, he tells his assistant over the phone, his eyes still on her. I want to know what she's up to. Emily, oblivious to the audience in the car, gives her reflection one last nod. Showtime, she says, brushing her hands on her jeans. She turns to head toward the upscale restaurant where this meetup is supposed to happen. Her heart races a little, not from nerves, but from the thrill of rebellion. She's always been the black sheep of the Carter family, the one who'd rather climb trees than sip champagne at galas. Her parents want her to settle down, play the part of the perfect heiress, but Emily has other plans. She wants a life on her own terms, not one dictated by boardroom deals or family names. As she walks away, James watches her disappear into the crowd. He doesn't know it yet, but the girl he just saw is the very one he's supposed to meet tonight, the one his father, Henry, keeps pushing him toward. She's from a good family, Henry had said. You two could make this work. James had rolled his eyes at that. He's not here for love or alliances. He's here to protect what his mother left behind. But something about this girl, with her dirt-streaked face and fearless attitude, sticks with him. He starts the car, a quiet thought forming in his mind. Whoever she is, she's not like the rest. Back on the street, Emily strides toward her destiny, or what she hopes will be her escape. She has no idea that the man in the car, the one she's trying to ditch, has already taken notice. And he's not running away. Not yet. This is just the beginning, a spark in the chaos of New York, where a disguise meant to ruin everything might just start something beautiful. Welcome to Emma Stories, where love finds a way, even through the messiest of plans. Let's see where this takes us. Emily Carter doesn't waste time. After her little makeover by the SUV, she skips the restaurant altogether. No point in showing up just to scare off James Grayson, not when she can ditch the whole thing and disappear. She's got a plan, one that's been brewing ever since her parents started this meet-up nonsense. She ducks into an alley off Fifth Avenue, her heart pounding with adrenaline. The city hums around her, a perfect cover for her escape. She pulls out a pair of scissors from her bag, stolen from her mom's sewing kit, and starts hacking at her long brown hair. Strands fall to the pavement like leaves in the wind. She doesn't stop until it's short, choppy, barely brushing her shoulders. "Good enough," she mutters, shoving the scissors back in her bag. Next, she swaps her hoodie for a flannel shirt, tucks her cap lower, and checks herself in a shop window. She looks like a guy now. Or close enough. Ethan Reed is born. Ethan Reed isn't just a name. It's a lifeline. Emily's old college buddy, Sam, runs a shady side gig making fake IDs. She'd called him last week, half joking, "If I ever need to vanish, you've got me, right?" He'd laughed, but he delivered. The ID in her pocket says Ethan Reed, 23, freelance security. It's not perfect, but it'll get her through a job interview, maybe even a background check if no one digs too deep. She's counting on New York's chaos to hide her. The Carters might have money and connections, but they won't look for their runaway daughter in the world of low-rent gigs and late-night shifts. She heads to a diner on the Lower East Side, a place Sam told her about. "They're always hiring muscle," he'd said. "You're tough enough." Emily smirks at that. Tough enough is right. Meanwhile, James Grayson pulls away from the curb, the image of that dirt-streaked girl still in his head. He's late for a meeting at Grayson Enterprises, the company his mother poured her life into before cancer took her 5 years ago. His father, Henry, runs it now, but James is the one keeping it alive. He's got bigger problems than some meet-up with a rich girl. His stepbrother Ryan and stepmother Susan have been circling like vultures, waiting for a chance to snatch the company away. They've got Henry's ear, whispering lies about James being reckless, unfit to lead. He needs protection, not just from boardroom politics, but from the real threats Ryan's been hinting at. A car tailing him last week, a break-in at his apartment. He tells his assistant, Claire, over the phone, "I need a bodyguard, someone who can handle trouble, set it up fast." Fate has a funny way of working. The next morning, Emily walks into a nondescript office building near Times Square, clutching her fake ID. She's answered an ad for a security gig, no questions asked. The place reeks of coffee and desperation, but she's not picky. She just needs cash and a place to lay low. The interviewer, a gruff guy named Mike, barely glances at her papers. "Ethan Reed, huh? You look young. Got any skills?" Emily nods, keeping her voice low. "Trained in martial arts since I was 10. I can take down anyone." Mike raises an eyebrow. "Prove it." Before he finishes, a loudmouth from the waiting room shoves past, yelling about cutting the line. Emily doesn't hesitate. She grabs his arm, twists it behind his back, and drops him to the floor in 3 seconds flat. Mike grins. "You're hired. Boss needs someone yesterday." The boss turns out to be James Grayson. Emily doesn't know that yet, not when she's ushered into his sleek office on the 40th floor of Grayson Enterprises. She's too busy keeping her cap low, her shoulders squared, playing the part of Ethan Reed. James sits behind a glass desk, his dark eyes scanning her. He's in a tailored suit, but there's a tension in his jaw like he's carrying the weight of the world. "Eaton," he says, testing the name. Mike says, "You're good. Why security?" Emily shrugs, her voice gruff. "Pays the bills. I'm not afraid of a fight." James leans back, studying her. There's something off, something he can't place. Her hands are too small, her frame too slight. But then he remembers the girl by his car, the one with guts. Maybe it's nothing. He decides to test her. "Show me," he says, standing up. "Pretend I'm a threat." Emily blinks, caught off guard, but she recovers fast. She steps forward, grabs his wrist, and flips him onto the desk with a thud. Papers scatter. James laughs, a real laugh, the first in weeks. "Okay, you're in." He rubs his wrist, still chuckling. "Start tomorrow. Claire will get you set up." Emily nods, hiding her relief. A job, a paycheck, a hiding spot. She's safe for now. But as she leaves, James watches her go, that nagging feeling still there. Her voice, soft, even when she tries to sound tough. Her eyes, sharp but guarded. He picks up his phone. "Claire, dig into this Ethan Reed, quietly." Back at the Carter penthouse, John and Margaret are losing their minds. Emily didn't show up to the meetup, didn't answer her phone. Margaret paces, wringing her hands. She's always been stubborn, but this? Running off? John slams a glass down. "She's throwing away everything we've built. The Graysons won't take this lightly. They call her brother, Michael, a lawyer with a knack for finding people. Track her down," John says. "She can't hide forever." Michael sighs, knowing Emily's too smart to leave a trail. But he starts making calls anyway. Across town, Ryan Grayson smirks over a whiskey at his stepmother's apartment. Susan pours herself a glass, her voice low. "James dodged that meetup, but he's slipping. The board's asking questions. We need him out." Ryan nods. "I've got people watching him. He's paranoid, hiring bodyguards now. One wrong move and we'll have proof he's unfit." Susan smiles, cold and calculated. "Good. Your mother's company should have been ours years ago. Let's make it happen." Emily spends her first night as Ethan in a cheap motel, counting the cash she's scraped together. She's free, at least for a moment. But freedom comes with a catch. She's tied herself to James Grayson, the very man she ran from without even knowing it. And James, sitting in his high-rise office, can't shake the feeling that this new bodyguard is more than meets the eye. Their worlds have collided. Two rebels caught in a storm of family, power, and secrets. Neither knows how close they are to unraveling everything, or how one chance meeting by a car window could change it all. Emily Carter, now Ethan Reed, steps into her first day at Grayson Enterprises with a mix of nerves and determination. She's got the job, the fake ID held up, and she's one step closer to disappearing from her family's radar. The office towers over Midtown Manhattan, all glass and steel, a world away from the cozy chaos of her old life. She adjusts her cap, keeps her head down, and follows Claire, James's assistant, through the bustling halls. "Boss likes you close," Claire says, handing her a badge. "You're on his detail now. Don't screw it up." Emily nods, her voice low. "Got it." She's not here to make friends, just to stay hidden. But as she trails Claire to James's office, she can't shake the feeling she's walking into something bigger than she planned. James Grayson leans against his desk, flipping through reports when Emily walks in. He looks up, his dark eyes locking on her. "Ethan," he says, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. "Ready to earn your keep?" Emily squares her shoulders, playing the part. "Always." He gestures to a chair. "Sit. We've got trouble." He doesn't waste time, diving into the mess he's in. His stepbrother Ryan has been pushing the board to question his leadership, and there's been a string of incidents, break-ins, threats. "I need someone I can trust," he says, watching her closely. "Can I trust you?" Emily meets his gaze, her heart thudding. "Yeah, I've got your back." It's the truth, even if it's wrapped in a lie. Their first test comes that night. James has a late meeting at a warehouse in Brooklyn, some deal about shipping contracts. Emily sticks to his side, scanning the shadows. The place is quiet, too quiet, until a van screeches up and 3 guys in hoods jump out. James tenses, but Emily moves faster. She grabs the first one, twists his arm and sends him sprawling. The second swings a pipe, but she ducks, kicks his legs out, and he hits the ground hard. The third bolts, but not before she lands a punch that drops him cold. It's over in seconds. James stares, half impressed, half stunned. "Where'd you learn that?" he asks, catching his breath. Emily shrugs, her voice slipping high for a split second. Just practice," she coughs, deepening it. "Lots of practice." James raises an eyebrow but doesn't push. Back in his car, he breaks the silence. "You're good, Ethan. Really good." Emily shifts, uncomfortable with the praise. "Just doing my job." He glances at her, curious. "Most guys would have bragged by now. You don't." She smirks under her cap. "Not my style." It's the start of something, a thread of trust weaving between them. Over the next few weeks, they fall into a rhythm. She's there for every meeting, every late-night drive, every tense call with his father. She learns his habits, how he rubs his temple when stressed, how he hides a laugh behind a cough, and he starts to open up, bit by bit. One evening, stuck in traffic on the Brooklyn Bridge, James talks about his mom. "She built this company from nothing," he says, staring out at the city lights. "Worked herself to death for it, literally. Cancer got her when I was 23. Emily listens, her guard slipping. "That's rough," she says, forgetting to roughen her voice. It comes out soft, too soft. James turns, catching it. "You sound like my sister sometimes," he says, half teasing. Emily freezes, then forces a laugh. "Yeah, well, I've got a cold." He doesn't buy it, not fully, but he lets it go. She's starting to see him differently, too. He's not the spoiled jerk she pictured. He's fighting for something real, just like she is. The cracks in her disguise show more as time goes on. One morning, James walks into the break room while she's grabbing coffee. She's got her cap off, hair mussed, and she's humming a tune her mom used to sing. He stops short. "Ethan?" She spins, nearly dropping the mug, and her voice jumps an octave. "Hey, boss," she coughs, lowering it. Just getting caffeine." He steps closer, peering at her. "You're a weird one, you know that?" She grins, deflecting. "Takes one to know one." He laughs, and it's warm, unguarded. For a moment, they're not boss and bodyguard. They're just two people, caught in something neither can name. Then comes the night that changes everything. They're leaving a charity event at the Met, all glitz and gowns, when a guy in a ski mask lunges from the crowd. He's got a knife aimed at James. Emily reacts on instinct, shoving James behind her and tackling the guy. The blade grazes her arm, but she pins him down, knee on his chest, until security hauls him off. James pulls her aside, his face pale. "You're bleeding," he says, grabbing her arm. She yanks back, wincing. "It's fine." But he's already peeling off his jacket, wrapping it around the cut. "You didn't have to do that," he says, his voice low. Emily meets his eyes, her cap askew. "Yeah, I did." Something shifts then, a quiet understanding. He's not just her boss anymore. Later, in his office, he patches her up with a first aid kit. "You're reckless," he says, dabbing antiseptic on the wound. She flinches but smirks. Says the guy who needs a babysitter. He chuckles, then goes quiet. "Thanks, Ethan, I mean it." She nods, her throat tight. She's saved him twice now, and it's more than a job. She's starting to care, maybe too much. But the lie sits heavy between them. She almost slips again when he asks, "Where'd you come from anyway?" She hesitates. "Just a small town. Nothing special." It's half true. But her real story, the Carter heiress running from a meetup, stays locked away. James isn't blind. He's noticed things. Her voice cracks when she's nervous. She avoids the locker room like it's a plague zone. Once he caught her adjusting her shirt, and her silhouette wasn't quite right. He's not sure what to make of it. "You ever gonna tell me who you really are?" he asks one night, leaning on his balcony overlooking the city. Emily freezes, her cap shadowing her face. "What do you mean?" He turns, his gaze steady. "You're hiding something." "I don't care what it is, just don't lie to my face." She swallows hard, deflecting. "I'm your bodyguard. That's all you need to know." He lets it drop, but the question lingers. At the Carter penthouse, John and Margaret are frantic. Michael's search has turned up nothing. "She's gone," Margaret says, tears in her eyes. John slams his fist on the table. She's thrown away her future. The Graysons won't wait forever. Michael sighs. She's smart, Dad. She doesn't want to be found. Across town, Ryan and Susan plot their next move. He's got a new guard, Ryan says, scrolling through photos from the event. Some kid named Ethan. Looks soft. Susan smirks. Soft or not, we'll use it. James is slipping. Time to push harder. Emily lies awake in her motel room, replaying James's words. He's getting too close, seeing too much. She's not just hiding from her family anymore, she's hiding from him. But every time she saves him, every time he looks at her like she's more than a shadow, the lie gets harder to hold. She's falling for him, this man she was supposed to run from, and it's tearing her apart. James, staring out at the skyline, feels it too. Ethan's not like anyone he's met, and that pull, that strange warmth, won't let him go. They're bound now, tied by trust and secrets, and neither knows how close they are to the truth. Emily Carter's double life as Ethan Reed is starting to fray at the edges. She's been James Grayson's bodyguard for weeks now, dodging knives and questions with equal skill. But the closer she gets to him, the harder it is to keep the truth buried. She's lying in her motel bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, when her phone buzzes. It's Sam, her old college friend who made her fake ID. "Hey, Ethan," he says, his voice crackling through the line. "You good? I've got some extra cash if you need it." Emily sits up, keeping her voice low. "I'm fine, just keep my name out of it." She glances at the door, half expecting James to barge in. "Gotta go," she says, hanging up fast. She doesn't see James outside leaning against his car, watching her window from the parking lot. He'd followed her after a hunch, and now he's frowning at the phone call he couldn't hear. Across town, Ryan Grayson and his stepmother Susan are cooking up trouble. They're in Susan's sleek Upper East Side apartment, a place dripping with money and malice. Ryan flips through a stack of photos on his laptop, shots of James with his new bodyguard at the charity event. "Look at this kid," he says, zooming in on Emily's capped figure. "Ethan Reed." James trusts him too much. Susan sips her wine, her eyes narrowing. "Then we use him, plant a scandal, make James look unstable. The board's already on edge." Ryan grins, pulling up a contact. "I've got just the person. Lily Bennett. She'll do anything for a paycheck." Susan nods. "Make it messy. Henry won't protect him if it's bad enough." Lily Bennett meets them the next day in a dive bar off the Bowery. She's a small-time actress with big ambitions and no morals. Ryan slides her an envelope of cash. "You're James Grayson's ex," he says. "You've got a kid on the way and he ditched you. Cry on camera, sell it." Lily smirks, flipping her hair. "Easy. I've got some old photos I can tweak. Make it look real." Susan adds, "We'll leak it to the press. Grayson Enterprises stock will tank and James is done." Lily pockets the money, already plotting her tears. "Give me a day," she says. And she's gone. The story hits the tabloids by morning. Headlines scream, "CEO James Grayson abandons pregnant ex," with blurry, edited photos of him and Lily from years ago, doctored to look recent. The stock market reacts fast, Grayson Enterprises shares dropping like stones. James storms into his office, slamming the paper on his desk. "This is garbage," he growls to Claire. "I've never met this woman." Claire scrolls her tablet, grim. "Doesn't matter. The board's calling an emergency meeting. Your dad's furious." James rubs his temples, his mind racing. Then he sees Emily or Ethan standing by the door, quiet as ever. "You hear this?" he asks. She nods, her cap shadowing her face. "Yeah, it's a setup." He squints at her. "How do you know?" She shrugs. "Just a guess." But James isn't guessing anymore. He's been watching Ethan closer since that night at the motel. The phone call he saw, the way Ethan flinches at personal questions. Something's off, and this scandal makes it worse. He calls her over later, his office dim with evening light. "Ethan," he says, voice hard, "level with me. You know something about this?" Emily's stomach drops. She adjusts her cap, stalling. "No, boss. I'm just here to keep you safe." He steps closer, too close. I saw you on the phone last night. Who was it? Her mind scrambles. Just a friend. Checking in. He doesn't buy it. A friend who knows about my life? You working for Ryan? The accusation stings, and she snaps back. I'd never sell you out. You think I'd risk my neck for him? James stares, his jaw tight. Then why do I feel like you're lying to me? Emily's chest aches. She wants to tell him, spill it all, that she's Emily Carter, the girl he was supposed to meet. But the words stick. Instead, she says, I'm not your enemy, believe that. He searches her face, then turns away. I don't know what to believe anymore. The air's thick with tension, trust cracking under the weight of secrets. Emily grabs her jacket. I'll give you space, she says, voice low. She leaves a note on his desk before she goes, scribbled fast. I'm not against you. Never was. She's out the door before he can stop her. James finds the note an hour later, staring at it in the silence. He's angry, confused, but there's something in her words that gnaws at him. Ethan saved his life twice, stuck by him through every mess. He crumples the paper, muttering, Who are you? Outside, Emily walks the cold streets, her breath fogging in the air. She's lost her anchor, the one person she didn't mean to care about. She checks into a new motel, farther from the city, her mind a tangle of guilt and fear. She's not just running from her family now, she's running from him. At the Carter penthouse, John and Margaret are drowning in worry. Michael's back from another dead-end search, slumping on the couch. She's a ghost, Dad, he says. No credit cards, no phone pings. She's gone dark. Margaret wrings her hands. What if she's hurt? We pushed her too hard with that Grayson boy. John scowls. She's throwing away her future. Henry called today, furious about the meetup. Now this scandal? We're losing everything. Michael shakes his head. She's not coming back unless she wants to. You know Em. Ryan and Susan, meanwhile, toast their success. The stock's down 10% and the board's buzzing with doubt. James is on the ropes, Ryan says, swirling his drink. That bodyguard's our next play. If he's loyal, we break him. If he's not, we use him. Susan smirks. Lily's just the start. We've got more coming. Henry won't back James now. They don't know Emily's already gone, slipping through their fingers like sand, but they're closing in and the pressure's mounting. James sits alone in his office, the city sprawling below. He replays every moment with Ethan, the fights, the quiet talks, that night she took a knife for him. He's never trusted anyone like this, not since his mom died, but the doubt festers. Was it all a lie? He calls Claire. Find Ethan. I need answers. She hesitates. He's not at his usual spot, boss. I'll keep looking. James hangs up, staring at the note in his hand. I'm not against you. He wants to believe it, but the world's crashing down, and he's not sure who's left to catch him. Emily, curled up in her new room, feels the same storm. She's saved James, fought for him, and now he thinks she's the enemy. The lie's too big, swallowing her whole. She pulls out her phone, almost calls Sam again, then stops. She's in too deep, tied to a man she never meant to love. Across the city their paths diverge, but the pull between them doesn't fade. Ryan's scheme is working, tearing them apart, and neither knows how close they are to the edge. The truth's coming, fast and unforgiving, and it's going to change everything. The storm that's been brewing over James Grayson and Emily Carter finally breaks on a gray morning in Manhattan. Grayson Enterprises is a fortress of glass and steel, but today it feels like a battlefield. The board has called an emergency press conference in the main lobby, cameras flashing, reporters buzzing like flies. James stands at the edge of the chaos, his suit crisp, but his eyes tired. The Lily Bennett scandal has tanked the company's stock, and Ryan's been whispering in their father's ear for days. Henry Grayson, stern and silver-haled, sits with the board, his face a mask of disappointment. Ryan smirks from the sidelines, ready to claim his victory. Susan's there too, her wine-red dress a splash of venom in the crowd. They've set the stage, and James is the one on trial. Upstairs, Emily Carter hovers in a service hallway, her heart pounding. She's been gone 3 days since that fight with James, hiding in a motel off the Jersey Turnpike. She saw the news last night, the headlines screaming about James' downfall. Her note hadn't been enough. She'd left him to face this alone. Guilt gnawed at her until she couldn't stand it. She's back now, cap pulled low, Ethan Reed's badge still clipped to her jacket. She sneaks into the building through a side door, dodging security. She doesn't know what she'll do, just that she can't let James sink, not after everything. Downstairs, Ryan steps to the podium, his voice smooth as oil. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Grayson Enterprises has faced tough times, and it's clear why. My brother James has lost control. This scandal with Lily Bennett proves he's unfit to lead. Our father agrees, the board agrees. It's time for a change." He gestures to Henry, who nods stiffly. "I'm ready to step up, restore trust, and take us forward." The crowd murmurs, cameras clicking. Lily stands nearby, tears glistening, playing her part. "James left me and our baby," she sobs, holding up a doctored photo. "He's a liar." The room erupts, questions flying. James clenches his fists, stepping forward. "This is a setup," he says, voice steady but sharp. "I don't know this woman. Those pictures are fake. Ryan's been after my mother's legacy since she died, and he'll lie to get it." Henry cuts in, cold. "Enough, James. You've embarrassed us long enough. Sit down." Ryan grins, sensing blood. "The board's made its choice. I'm the new head of Grayson Enterprises." The reporters lean in, hungry for more. James opens his mouth to fight back, but a voice stops him cold. "Wait." It's Emily, pushing through the crowd, her cap gone, hair spilling loose. She's dropped the disguise, standing there in her flannel and jeans. Ethan Reed no more. The room goes quiet, all eyes on her. "I'm Emily Carter," she says, loud and clear. "And James isn't the liar here, Ryan is." Gasps ripple through the crowd. James stares, his mind racing. Emily Carter, the girl from the meetup, the one he saw by his car. Ethan Reed. It clicks, and his jaw drops. Ryan recovers fast, sneering. "Who's this? Another of James' messes?" Emily steps closer, unflinching. "I'm the Carter heiress you tried to pair him with, and I've been his bodyguard, watching everything." She turns to the reporters. "Ryan paid Lily to lie. I've got proof." She holds up her phone, playing a recording she'd snatched from Sam, who'd overheard Lily bragging at a bar. Lily's voice crackles out. "Ryan gave me $5,000 to cry on TV. Easiest gig ever." The crowd explodes again, cameras swinging to Ryan. His face pales, but he snaps. "That's doctored. She's nobody." Emily doesn't back down. "Check my ID. Check my story. I ran from that meetup because I didn't trust James. But I was wrong. He's the only one here worth trusting." She looks at James, her eyes steady. "I'm sorry I lied. I couldn't let them bury you." James steps beside her, finding his voice. "She's telling the truth. And I've got more." He pulls a folder from his jacket, slamming it on the podium. "My mother's will. She left Grayson Enterprises to me, not Ryan, not Henry. I've kept it quiet, waiting for proof of their schemes. Here it is." He opens it, showing notarized pages. "I'm also the silent investor, the one propping up this company while they tried to sell it out." The board members shift, whispering. Henry's face hardens. "This is nonsense," he says, but his voice wavers. A board member, Claire's uncle, stands. "We'll verify it, James. If it's real, you're in charge." Ryan lunges, grabbing the folder. "You're not taking this from me." Emily moves faster, snatching it back and shoving him off the podium. He stumbles, red-faced, as security closes in. Susan tries to slip out, but reporters block her, shouting questions. Lily bolts, her heels clicking on the marble floor. The room's a circus, but Emily and James stand firm, side by side. Then 2 familiar faces push through. John and Margaret Carter, wide-eyed. "Emily," Margaret gasps. "What are you doing?" John stares at James. "You're the Grayson boy?" Emily nods, half smiling. "Yeah, Mom, Dad. Meet James, the real one." The crowd parts as John steps forward, shaking his head. "You ran off, turned into a boy, and now this?" "You're still our daughter." Margaret hugs her, tears falling. "We just wanted you safe." Emily pulls back, firm. "I am now, with him." She glances at James, who's still processing. He pulls her aside, away from the cameras, his voice low. "Emily Carter, Ethan Reed, you ran from me, then saved me. Why?" She swallows, honest at last. "I hated the idea of you, some rich guy I didn't choose. But then I met you, the real you, and I couldn't walk away." James looks at her, the girl who flipped him onto his desk, took a knife for him, lied to his face, and fought for his life. "You're insane," he says, but there's a smile in it. "And I'm glad you're here." The press conference dissolves into chaos, Ryan yelling as security drags him out, Susan cornered by questions. Henry sits defeated as the board scrambles to check the will. Claire rushes over, grinning. "You did it, boss." And Ethan or Emily, "Nice work." Emily laughs, the first real laugh in weeks. "Thanks, Claire." The truth's out, messy and loud, but it's theirs. Emily's not hiding anymore, and James isn't alone. The Carters stand by, stunned but softening. John mutters, "Maybe he's not so bad." Margaret nods. She picked him herself this time. The cameras catch it all. The runaway heiress and the CEO she saved, a story New York won't forget. But for James and Emily, it's quieter. They're in the eye of the storm, facing each other. "No disguises left," she says. "I thought I'd ruin you that night by the car." He steps closer, voice soft. "You didn't. You started this." Ryan's hauled off, still shouting, "I'll be back." Susan follows, her heels clicking defeat. The board confirms the will, Claire's uncle announcing, James Grayson retains control, meeting adjourned. The reporters swarm, but James and Emily slip to a side room, away from the noise. He looks at her, really looks, seeing Ethan and Emily in one. "You're a hell of a bodyguard," he says. She smirks. "You're a hell of a boss." They stand there, the city humming outside, a new chapter cracking open. The fight's not over, not with Ryan out there, but they've won this round. Together. The press conference leaves Grayson Enterprises in a whirlwind. But for James Grayson and Emily Carter, the real storm is just beginning. Ryan's parting shot echoes in their ears as security drags him out, his threats hanging like smoke. James knows his stepbrother won't go quietly, not with the company still in play. Emily, standing by his side, feels the weight of her reveal settling in. She's no longer Ethan Reed, no longer hiding. But the fallout's not over. They slip out a back exit, dodging reporters, and climb into James's SUV. The city blurs past, a maze of lights and noise, as they head for a quiet spot to breathe. James drives them to a warehouse in Red Hook, a place he owns off the books. It's empty, just crates and shadows, but it's safe. He parks, turns off the engine, and looks at Emily. "You okay?" he asks, his voice rough from the day. She nods, rubbing her arm where the knife grazed her weeks ago. "Yeah, you?" He exhales, leaning back. "Better now." Silence falls, heavy but warm. Then his phone buzzes. Claire's name flashes. "Boss," she says when he picks up. "Ryan's on the move. He's got people tailing you. Watch your back." James curses under his breath. "Thanks, Claire. Keep me posted." He hangs up, turning to Emily. "He's not done." Before she can respond, headlights cut through the dark outside. A car screeches to a stop, and Ryan steps out, alone but wired with rage. He bangs on the warehouse door, yelling, "James! You think you've won? Come out here!" Emily tenses, but James grabs her arm. "Stay here," he says, starting for the door. She pulls him back. "No way, we do this together." He hesitates, then nods. They step outside, facing Ryan, in the dim glow of the streetlights. He's disheveled, tie loose, eyes wild. "You took everything," he spits at James. "Mom's company, the board, all of it." James stands tall, calm. "It was never yours, you know that." Ryan's gaze shifts to Emily, a sneer curling his lips. "And you, little bodyguard, thought you'd play hero?" He pulls out his phone, waving it. "I've got a text. Says you're meeting your family here. They're coming to drag you back." Emily's stomach drops. It's a lie, a trap, but Ryan's desperate enough to try anything. He lunges at her, grabbing her wrist. "If I can't have the company, neither will he." James moves fast, shoving Ryan off and pinning him against the car. "Touch her again, and you're done," he growls. Ryan struggles, but James is stronger. Emily steps in, twisting Ryan's arm until he drops the phone. "Enough," she says, kicking it away. Sirens wail in the distance, closing in. Claire must have called the cops. Ryan panics, thrashing, "You can't do this. I'm a Grayson." James lets go as blue lights flood the lot. Officers swarm, cuffing Ryan as he yells about lawyers and revenge. Emily watches, catching her breath, then feels James' hand on her shoulder. "You didn't have to do that," he says, echoing that night at the gala. She smiles, tired but real. "Yeah, I did." The cops haul Ryan into a car, his threats fading as they drive off. It's over, at least for now. They head back to Manhattan, but not to Grayson Enterprises. James takes her to the Carter penthouse, a towering suite overlooking Central Park. Emily hesitates at the door, knowing what's waiting. "They're going to kill me," she mutters. James squeezes her hand. "Not if I'm there." They step inside, and John and Margaret are on her in seconds. "Emily Marie Carter," Margaret starts, voice shaking. "You scared us to death," John cuts in, running off, pretending to be a boy, fighting at press conferences. "What were you thinking?" Emily braces herself, but then Margaret pulls her into a hug. "We thought we'd lost you," she whispers. John softens, looking at James. "You're the Grayson kid, huh? Kept her safe?" James nods, steady. "She kept me safe, too." John grunts, almost impressed. "Guess you're not the spoiled brat we figured." Margaret wipes her eyes, studying them. "You two planned this?" Emily laughs, shaking her head. "No, Mom, it just happened." John crosses his arms. "Well, you picked him yourself this time. No meetups needed." It's not approval, not yet, but it's close. Emily feels the knot in her chest loosen. She's home, not as a pawn, but as herself. Later, James pulls her out to the penthouse balcony, the city sparkling below. The air's cool, the night quiet after days of chaos. He leans on the railing, looking at her. "You know," he says, "I fell for Ethan first, the guy who flipped me on my desk, took a knife for me. Then Emily showed up, and I was done for." She blushes, nudging him. "I ran from you that night by the car, thought I'd ruin you." He turns, closing the gap between them. "You didn't. You saved me. More than once." His voice drops, soft. "I love you, Emily, disguise or not." Her breath catches and she steps closer. "I love you too, the real you, not the CEO I imagined." He cups her face and they kiss, slow and sure, the skyline framing them like a promise. Weeks later, Grayson Enterprises studies, James at the helm with the board's backing. Ryan's facing charges, Susan's vanished, and Henry's retired to lick his wounds. Emily moves out of the motel, into a place of her own, but she's rarely there. She's with James most nights, no badge, no cap, just them. One evening on that same balcony, he pulls out a small box. "No family deals, no pressure," he says, opening it to a simple ring. "Just us." "Marry me." Emily grins, eyes bright. "Only if I don't have to dress up again." He laughs, slipping it on her finger. "Deal." They stand there, wrapped in each other, the city alive below. Emily thinks back to that night by the SUV, smearing dirt on her face trying to run. She'd thought she was breaking free, but she'd stumbled into something better. James pulls her close, whispering, "No more running." She nods against his chest. "No more running. It's a messy start, a wild ride, but it's theirs. A love born from disguises, forged in fights, and sealed in truth." New York hums on, but for them, The world's finally still.